Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for some DC reviews, and in these DC reviews I'll be covering Action Comics 1087, Robin and Batman, Jason Todd, issue 1, along with Trinity, issue 1. I'll now get things ready and organised for the first one that I'll be reviewing. So as we move into first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, and as you can see here with the cover, it almost looks like we've got a bit of a Smallville version of Clark Kent as shown in the cover here, to which I give the cover a 7.5 out of 10 as to how it connects with the story and the art inside. Now it's time to move into the area of the internal art around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we see Superman helping, I guess, some young influential kids in his time, and whilst he's here, he's giving him some access to some flight rings at a museum that he's at. And whilst he is here, we can see that he's starting to get some flashbacks to the past, which I thought was quite nice. As we start to jump towards the middle of the story, we encounter sort of like one of his earliest villains, and of course how this villain is sort of like going to be probably making a connection later on, maybe with this story arc. So we'll get to see the return of this character. So we get to see what's happening in the past and how he sort of like becomes a bit of a hero. And also when he's learning to get a handle of his powers. And last but not least, towards the end, to which General Lane is, of course, overseeing the events that are taking place. So for the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10 as it works really well, not only with the cover but also the story. Next is the area of the story itself, to which, number one, did we get any comic book references to any of the previous issues that might be important to this? No, we didn't. Next is the area of time, to which we learn that in the flashback it takes place around June 18, and funny that this review is also being done in June, but probably be scheduled for another day on the channel. Next is the locations that we got to see within the story. We had Metropolis, we had Smallville, and we had the museum. Cast of characters, we got to see, of course, Clark Kent, Superman. We got to see like members of the JSA. We had John and Martha Kent, and of course General Lane. The overall story rating I give it is a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Robin and Batman, Jason Todd, issue 1. So as we move into Robin and Batman, Jason Todd, issue 1, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? In some essence, sort of, to which I give the cover a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the area of the internal art, but what's also happening story-wise with the characters, as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end. So as the story begins, we are following a young Jason Todd with Bruce Wayne Batman, who is chasing after some villains on the streets of Gotham. As we jump a couple of pages through, we get to see Jason Todd taking on one of the villains. As things start to get a little bit further within the story, we start to see we start to see things sort of like connect to a bit of a dream state that Jason's in. But at the time you're reading through it, it's not actually shown until you actually see it. And this is afterward. And last but not least, towards the end, to which we do end up encountering another villain of sorts. It's not here, but Jason is mistaken to killing a person in this particular story. And if I were to say one thing, I'm surprised that the Court of the Owls didn't actually spy out Jason Todd first. I know it's something that Snyder brought into the DC comic universe, not Zack Snyder, but Scott Snyder. That they didn't spy out Jason Todd because of the way he sort of likes to take action on crime. But for the internal art, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. First is the area of time. No mention of time. Next is the location, Gotham, as well as the Batcave we got to see. So we got to also see the Wayne Manor. Last but not least, the cast of characters consisting of Jason Todd Robin, Bruce Wayne Batman. We also had Alfred as well as Two-Face. For the overall story rating, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Trinity, Issue 1. So as we move into Trinity Issue 1, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside of the story? Sort of, to which I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the area of the internal art as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we are starting off with a young Trinity chasing off a young Superboy who has turned into a puppy dog, as well as a young Damian Wayne, as Damian Wayne, who's also turned into a puppy dog too, and she's basically chased them into somewhere in the future. Of course, we do get a bit of a lead-up of the events of what takes place. We go a little bit further into the story, and if I were to put this down, a crisis of infinite trinities, it's the only other way to put it. But I'll say one thing about this rendition or iteration of the character. If it's one thing I see with this character, is that compared to her first introduction, she came off as very snobby-like. In this application, you can actually start to see more of the character flaws, but also how she's trying to solve situations. Do I think she makes up the perfect trinity of Damian Wayne Batman, or Damian Wayne Robin, John Kent Superboy, and of course Trinity? No, I'd prefer Maya. That's the original Trinity. Maya Descartes. And last but not least, towards the end. So for the internal art, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. Now, considering that this is a series that is breaking out of Tom King's Wonder Woman run, I know I should have put it in there, but was there any references that connected to it? No, there wasn't. It probably wouldn't have hurt to include it in the first issue, because it would actually give any readers who wanted to learn a little bit more about Trinity, so maybe go back and pick up some of those other Wonder Woman issues that have the appearance of Trinity in there. Just saying. You want to earn money? You want to try to promote something to which this character makes appearances in, even if it's a regular appearance. Just saying. I might not exactly like the character, but I can understand what he's trying to do with the character here. Next is the area of time, to which we have some years from now, plus a few years from now being used time-wise. Next is the area of locations, which we had elsewhere, to which we got no idea where the hell elsewhere is. Is it in Is it in a future Metropolis? Future Gotham? Where the hell is it? Next is the cast of characters consisting of Trinity, Damian Wayne Robin, John Kent Superboy, which is the Bendis one, of course. And, of course, we got to see Steve Rogers, which I thought was quite nice, even though it was in like a statuette form. For my overall rating, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colorful and have yourself an awesome day.